My name is Art Ferruzzi, and on behalf of the Mid-Michigan Brass Band, I welcome you to our 2019 winter concert here at the Grace A. Dow Memorial Library Auditorium. This winter has been a challenging one for us all. We've had heavy snow, bitter cold, now known as a polar vortex, freezing rain, and of course, all of this after our friend Punxsutawney Phil said that winter would end early. I think he lied. That said, we are glad that you've come out today to listen to this music we've prepared for you. Our concert this afternoon will feature several pieces of music that are new to the Mid-Michigan Brass Band and a few that are familiar. Our program tonight is an eclectic mix of traditional and modern, challenging, soft and melodic, and big and bold music. We have two pieces composed by John Williams, plus two arranged by one of our favorite arrangers of brass band music, Philip Spark, and two pieces arranged by Stephen Bula. In addition, we will be performing March, the Soaring Eagle, by none other than former Midlander Alan Schmidt. Our concert begins today with Prismatic Light, concert opener by Alan Fernie. In 2009, Alan Fernie was honored with the President's Award from the Scottish Brass Band Association for his services to banding. He is also very proud to be writer-in-residence for two charities, Brass Band for Africa, for whom he spent 2 months teaching in Kampala, Uganda, and also the acclaimed Booze and Brass Project, an all-woman brass band dedicated to raising awareness and money for breast cancer research. Alan lives in the Scottish borders, where he works as a freelance musician, finding time to write, teach, conduct, judge, perform, and act as announcer throughout the United Kingdom and beyond. Now, as we begin our concert today, please join us in welcoming to the podium the conductor of the Mid-Michigan Brass Band, Dr. Norman Weka. concert continues with this year's Section 3 North American Brass Band Association's test piece, Chorale and Toccata. Our first number from Stephen Bula is an original composition and follows the classical form of a slow introductory chorale movement and a technically challenging toccata. Originally, a chorale was meant to be sung by a choir and a toccata to be performed as a virtuoso work for the pipe organ. However, these forms have been adapted through the centuries and presently suit the format of this work written for the modern brass band. The programmatic ideas in the music are based on a Palestrina chorale known as Victory. The words, as they are now sung, include these lines: "The strife is o'er, the battle done. The victory of life is won. The song of triumph has begun. Alleluia." Our next number, Be Still, is dedicated to those who lost their lives to terrorist bombers in London on July 7th of 2005. May they be still in the presence of the Lord. The melody and words of music were written by David J. Evans and arranged by Stephen Tyhe. As a modern hymn, this music has a beautiful melody and lyrics. Be still, for the presence of the Lord, the Holy One, is here. Come bow before him now with reverence and fear. In him no sin is found. We stand on holy ground. Be still, for the presence of the Lord, the Holy One, is here. We hope you enjoy this arrangement of Be Still. 30 years after the defeat of the Galactic Empire, the galaxy faces a new threat from the evil Kylo Ren and the First Order. When a defector named Finn crash lands on a desert planet, he meets Rey, a tough scavenger whose droid contains a top secret map. Together, the young duo joins forces with Han Solo to make sure the Resistance receives the intelligence concerning the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker, the last of the Jedi Knights. The symphonic suite from Star Wars, The Force Awakens, features music from the soundtrack by John Williams and is transcribed for brass band by Stephen Bullen. If you're keeping track, this is the first today by John Williams and the second for Stephen Bullen. We will have one more from Williams and two from Philip Spark in the second half today. Our final number for the first half is March, the Soaring Eagle. This is an original composition by former Midlander Alan Schmidt. Al and Carol moved to Midland in the late 1980s. While in Midland, Al decided it was time for a career change and started school at Central Michigan University, majoring in music education. Following school, Al's first job was band director at Jefferson Intermediate School here in Midland. He and Carol remained in Midland for about 20 years before Carol's job took them to Cincinnati, where Al became a front row cornetist and the composer in residence for the Cincinnati Brass Band. Al is now retired, but continues to compose and arrange music for brass bands. Following these numbers, we will take a 15-minute break before we come back for the second half of the concert. During intermission, if you would like to help us keep our concerts free, you will notice a donation box in the back of the auditorium. Please feel free to donate to our group. So now, without further ado, March, the Soaring Eagle by Alan Schmidt. Welcome back. Located in New York Harbor, the Statue of Liberty was a gift of international friendship from the people of France to the people of the United States of America, and was dedicated on the 28th of October in 1886. Following extension restoration for its centenary, the statue was rededicated on the 4th of July in 1986, and John Williams was commissioned to write a fanfare for the occasion. Liberty Fanfare follows the successful pattern that John Williams has employed in a series of ceremonial fanfares, which includes Olympic Fanfare, Theme Olympic Spirit, and Summon the Heroes. In these compositions, the grandeur and energy come from a juxtaposition and eventual combination of lively fanfare figures together with a broader theme. This formula is used brilliantly in Liberty Fanfare, which is one of Williams' shorter fanfares, and therefore benefits from a concise form and simple directness. We hope you enjoy this arrangement of Liberty Fanfare by John Williams and transcribed for brass band by Philip Spark. So, if you're still keeping track, that's 2 Bullas, 2 Williams, and 1 Spark. 1 more Spark to go. Please welcome to the podium our director, Norm Wika. Mr. Sandman was a popular song written by Pat Ballard, which was published in 1954. In May of 1954, it was recorded by Vaughn Monroe and his orchestra, and later that same year by the Chordettes and the Four Aces. The song's lyrics convey a request to Mr. Sandman to bring me a dream. This arrangement features members of the band playing a different instrument. You'll see what I mean. Mr. Sandman, words and music by Pat Ballard, and arranged for brass band by Lee Baker. This season, we are celebrating the band's 5th year of music making. For each of our concerts, we are bringing back a piece from the previous season. You may recognize a throwback number from our 3rd year from the recent list of Oscar winners. Bohemian Rhapsody, lyrics and music by Freddie Mercury and performed by Queen, is a band favorite. We've performed it several times, but with the success of the movie Bohemian Rhapsody in 2018, we thought this was a win as our throwback number for our 3rd year. At this time, I would like you to please welcome to the podium our guest conductor this afternoon, Mrs. Karen Welser. Mark Taylor, a prolific writer for jazz ensembles, was on the staff of the United States Army Band for 24 years, retiring as chief arranger in 2001. He wrote the trumpet feature Scream Machine for a vinyl album of the same name released in 1985 by the Army Blues Jazz Ensemble. Featuring 4 screamer trumpet parts, it was later published in a slightly simpler version called Brass Machine. This brass band arrangement has been arranged directly from the published jazz ensemble score and features soprano cornet and 4 solo cornets. Please welcome Matt Ingersoll, Quinton Larian, Jacob Weisenbach, and Tom Rice on solo cornet, and Jason Folkenroth on soprano cornet. Ladies and gentlemen, Brass Machine, and yes, arranged for brass band by Philip Spark. Before we get to our final selection this afternoon, we have a little business to take care of. First of all, on behalf of the entire band, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out to join us. You, the audience, is what makes these concerts so much fun, and we hope that you had as much fun as we've had. We would also like to thank some other very important folks, our contributors. We couldn't be here without the support of our contributors, including a generous grant from the Roland M. Gerstacker Foundation. A special thank you to the Grace A. Dow Memorial Library for opening their auditorium for us today, as well as their staff for supporting us as we prepare to perform for you this evening. Thanks as well to Rex Rossman for his audio recording of our concert today, and to the crew from MCTV for recording, editing, producing, and broadcasting our performance. You'll be able to find the performance on MCTV Spectrum Channel 191 or on YouTube at Friends of MCTV. Don't forget to mark your new 2019 calendars with the dates of our next concerts. Our spring concert is on May 19th at Central Park Auditorium on Rod Street here in Midland. We are working on a very special soloist for our spring concert, but we're not quite ready to announce anything yet while we finalize the details. When everything is finalized, you'll find all the details on our Facebook page or on our website at www.midmichiganbrassband.com. And finally, if you've enjoyed the concert this evening, please consider a donation to our band so we can continue to perform for you free of charge. The donation box is at the back of the auditorium as you leave today. Thank you. Our final selection today is The Melody Shop by Carl King and arranged for brass band by Peter Smalley. The Melody Shop is one of Carl King's most popular marches. The march is written in E-flat, with its trio section changing keys to the subdominant A-flat, as is typical for marches. Excerpts of the march are commonly used in auditions for euphoniums and baritone horns auditioning for a spot in a military band, a university band, brass bands, and city and state ensembles. King released this march in 1910. This was King's first year as a circus musician. At the end of the march, you should notice the euphonium, baritone, and tenor horn sections of the band. If you can see it, you should pay particular attention to how fast their fingers are moving, and there are only 3 valves being used. The sections feature Sherry Walensky, Ben Dawley, Mason Sagesh, Justin Walker, and Michael Kirby. As we finish today, we ask you to please drive home safely, and we look forward to seeing you at the very special concert on May 19th at Central Park Auditorium at 3 p.m.